to sort of get into this environment. You know, it's something that we've seen in the movies, but we're actually in the gameplay and with somebody here who has actually worked on the game. So let's talk more about what we're seeing here and getting into this.
Now this is awesome because essentially phase 1 you get to escort an MTT down the street of Theed here, and the pressure is on for the clones. They have to hold back the assault here.
They do, definitely. The droids are sitting there trying to escort that MTT up the main pathway. If they're successful, we go on to that phase 2. But right now, what we're seeing is some specialist gameplay from, I think, Battlefront Updates.
Yeah, let's actually talk about the specialists. And
hey guys, and welcome back to Battlefront Updates, and so a very exciting live stream straight from Hollywood in LA. Today I'm joined by Dennis Bramwell, design director of Star Wars Battlefront 2. Thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you.
Hey guys, and welcome back to Battlefront Updates. Today I'm joined with John from Criterion Games to answer some questions regarding Starfighter. So thank you for joining me.
You're welcome.
This match is coming to an end. It can literally end any moment now. He is ahead by about 500 points. Let's see if Elliot makes use of this life. He might not get to the... Oh, he's grinding points. He's dead, but he pulls ahead. Can he hold it?
Game.
Can he hold it?
Come on,
Zero
yes,
days.
Just over. What? Did I get it? Did I get it? I don't know.
Who won?
Yes! Oh, yes! Oh my god.
Oh, where were you at?
Shit.
Battlefront France, what was your total points?
Yeah, fantastic job.
So Elliot is comfortably sitting in the lead, but we still have this side of the room looking out. They could still defend.
Hey guys, and welcome back to Battlefront Updates. 2017 is now coming to an end, and it's been a quite amazing year for any Star Wars fan. And in this video I just wanted to show you some highlights and talk about the year, how it's been for me and the channel so far, and also some plans for the future of this channel, as well as some just overall talk about my thoughts on how the channel is performing and things like that. So this might turn out to be a quite long video, but I wanted to simply start off by talking about this year and thanking you guys for all the opportunities that you have ultimately given me, because this year has obviously been the release of Battlefront 2, and I've been able to do so much cool things, all thanks to you. Everything from going to Star Wars Celebration and seeing the reveal of Battlefront 2, to being in the EA Play gameplay reveal livestream next to Janina Gavankar, do a livestream on my channel with Dennis Bramwell, and go to Gamescom for the reveal of Starfighter Assault as well. And on top of that, we of course have the Game Changer events that I've been to give feedback on the game, which has all been great to interact directly with the developers. And I have to say, one of the highlights of all these events is being able to meet you guys in person, because it's one thing getting a comment on a video saying that you love my videos, but actually meeting someone in person telling me how much they like my videos and just having a general chat with some of my fans is extremely fun, and something that gives you a lot of energy to keep going. Every time I've gotten home from these events, I've just been so pumped to make more content for you guys. It really gives you a lot of energy to keep on going, and I think other creators have been able to experience the same thing can probably agree with me, because it's with your support we get the energy to keep on going. And this has probably been the best year so far for my channel and myself in terms of that particular point, going out to events, being part of cool live streams, meeting you guys and so on. I mean, I was even featured in an ad in the subway here in Stockholm, which was honestly quite surreal, because I didn't even know I was gonna be there. So when people sent me pictures, I was quite shocked. But yeah, that's probably something I will never forget. So a big thank you to all of you who have supported me throughout the years, and especially during this year. For the next year, it's really hard to say if there's gonna be anything more like this, because obviously there's not gonna be as much now that there isn't a release, but hopefully I will be able to go to at least EA Play and E3, because that's an event that will hopefully feature some type of Star Wars content. Star Wars Celebration is unfortunately not happening until 2019, so that is a shame, because Star Wars Celebration has probably been my favorite event to go to so far in terms of just the event in general. Not too crowded, a lot of awesome people, a lot of awesome panels and reveals and so on. But hopefully there will at least be some events for the actual game next year, like for the last game where there was a Game Changer event for each DLC. It's probably going to be a little bit trickier now that we have seasons that don't directly have one drop, or well, it could possibly be one drop for the actual maps and heroes like with the Last Jedi season, but we don't really know if that's going to be feasible for the next game or not. I would be a little bit disappointed if there was no events, considering I live like 30 minutes away from the office, so I could just just stroll in there. But it's understandable that they can't just host an event for me or whoever else is local here in Stockholm. So fingers crossed that I will be able to bring you guys some more content in terms of that in 2018. And otherwise, if they're not able to hold those kind of events, maybe I could at least drop in and do an interview with Dennis every now and then to get the community an update on what they're working on or what their thoughts are, because they have unfortunately been fairly quiet since the launch in terms of direct communication, which is a bit of a shame, and I'm really hoping that it will improve once January hits and they start talking about the next season and so on. So what about my channel in general? How is it doing? What's my future plans? And what do I think about the year in terms of my channel's performance? I have to be honest and say that my channel hasn't been doing as well as I'd hoped for. And some of you might be thinking, why are you saying that? Your channel is doing great. And yes, I am very happy with how it's doing, but I kind of expected it to do better because of the simple fact that my channel did really well during all the DLCs for the previous game, because both Outer Rim, Bespin and the Death Star actually did better on my channel than any month of this year, even better than the Battlefront 2 reveal, the beta and the launch here. So obviously I thought there was going to be a bigger influx of viewers during those points, but I think it might have to do a little bit with the fact that there's a lot of people covering a new game and not as much people covering the post-launch, because even now the best video on my channel the last 6 months or so is actually the crate video, which again shows that post-launch content seems to do better on my channel for some reason. And I'm hoping that's gonna be the same thing in the next year, and that my channel will continue growing and at least keep the views on around the same level as now. And something I always like to be transparent with you guys with is the financial part of the channel. Not talking about how much I make or anything like that, but I've always talked about sponsorships and things like that. And I think that has helped you guys understand why at least I do certain things with my channel. And it makes me very happy that it allows me to do things that I never thought I could. Like, I made a video a few months ago where I talked about potentially adding some other sponsorships to the channel, and you guys showed a lot of support, so I tried doing an Evil Within 2 sponsored video. And I was surprised to see that I don't think I got a single negative comment on that video, because I had made it very clear this is a sponsored video, it helps me run the channel, and I know it's not going to be Star Wars. But I still didn't expect it to do as well as it did, so I really want to thank you guys for the support on that video, and if I get any more opportunities like that, I will probably take them. You don't have to worry about me starting to do that all the time, because I don't think that's ever going to be possible. But if I do that maybe once a month or so, depending on whatever I get offered, I might take those opportunities because it allows me to do this full time. And that's also something I want to address. The fact that I can make videos for you guys full time as my day job is quite amazing. And every month I can do that, I'm so grateful for. And I'm not expecting this to last forever. At some point I will have to get another normal job, so to say, and do this on the side or completely stop. But for every month that I can do this, I am extremely grateful, because it is a very fun job to wake up to every day. And it's also nice to be able to dedicate yourself completely to it, so as soon as there's news, I'm usually around to make a video within 30 minutes or an hour, unless I'm at a bar, at which point they usually like to release videos. And one thing I've always aimed for with my channel that it seems like a lot of you appreciate is the honesty, both with the things I'm talking about right now, but also with my titles and descriptions and such, because unfortunately within the, well, entire YouTube community, to be honest, and even within the Battlefront and Star Wars community, there is a lot of misleading and clickbait in general, and this is just something that is gonna be on YouTube always, basically. And it's always gonna get the most views because it works, simple as that. If a video gets a couple of extra dislikes or negative comments, that's not really gonna affect how the channel does. So I've been really trying to focus on making my titles somewhat interesting, but still not making them clickbait. And that has unfortunately made my channel suffer in terms of views, because I know I could title my videos completely differently and get a lot more views. I think I've done it a couple of times, which has given me more views, but instead getting some negative response from you guys. And I would rather have happy viewers and less views than unhappy viewers and more views and money. So if I at some point have to start clickbaiting to actually get enough views to do this full time, well, at that point I think it's time to stop, because I would rather keep my integrity than to have to mislead or do bad content in order to make enough money. One more thing I wanted to bring up is the fact that streaming has now become a bigger part of my channel, which I am so glad about, because it's something I've always wanted to do more of, and since the beta I've been streaming at least a couple of times every week, and that has also meant that I've gotten more donations from you guys. And I wanted to bring that up because so far donations has only been a very small fraction of my monthly income, but since November and December it's actually become at least a part of it. It's not the majority at all, but it's something that actually affects my overall income, which is good because it means I don't have to 100% rely on the very unstable ad revenue on YouTube. So I want to thank every single one of you who have donated, whether it's $1 or $100, and also to those of you who are using Box, which, if you have missed it, which is basically a website where you can download and play free games, and I will get paid for it and you don't have to pay for it. So it's a way to donate directly to the channel without having to pay anything, basically. And it's great to have at least a couple of other revenue sources, because next month is January, which usually means about a 50% drop in ad revenue, which is quite insane because it basically cuts your salary in half. And a lot of YouTubers dread January because of the simple fact that the ad revenue drops so much. And if you're wondering why, it's simply because a lot of companies blow all their advertising budgets in December and they don't have a lot left for January. So in January, Google can't serve as much ads, which is why a lot of YouTubers do more sponsored stuff either in December to make it up or just try to do it in January. Since my channel is quite niched, it's quite hard for me to do that, but I do still have the things I brought up in this video, which does help a lot when things like the January drops hits, or if there's another adpocalypse like earlier this year. And I'm sure some of you will be wondering specifically if I have any plans for next year, and the only thing I can tell you is that I'm working on a big tips and tricks video like I did for the last game, which I'm hoping to have out within maybe 2 weeks. We'll see how fast I can finish it. But it's actually my most viewed video on the channel right now, so I'm hoping I can do a pretty good video for this game as well, as I know there's a lot of new people coming in over the holidays who might appreciate a big tips and tricks video. And other than that, I will be continuing top 5 plays, Mythbusters. It's a little bit tricky to do without private matches, but I will do my best. And if they add private matches, that series will be more frequent. And then Do Choose My Loadout didn't do too well with the first video, but I'll give it a couple of more goes and see if it's worth continuing or not. But as always, news is of course my main focus, because that's what I like covering and it's what most of you are subscribed for. But hopefully that gives you a little idea of my thoughts on the channel right now, my future plans this year and so on. And again, a massive thank you for all your support over the last couple of years and this year in particular, and for helping me being able to work full-time with this fantastic job. Thank you very much for watching and have a happy new year.